Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pretty Healthy Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Brandi Moore, and today I'm going to be talking about how to build a healthy lifestyle. I have 3 easy tips on ways that you can do this. Now, easy does not always mean simple, but we're going to be talking about some things that you can change in your everyday life. My personal opinion when it comes to making changes like this is all about slow and steady progress. And you'll see that hinted and explained throughout this video or this episode. If you didn't know, I do post these videos on YouTube, so feel free to go to Dr. Brandi Moore on YouTube and watch them. So there is a video version as well as an audio version, and I appreciate your support with either. All right, let's get into the video. So when it comes to starting a healthy lifestyle, for me, it lands on 3 different things. Before I get into what those things are, let's talk about what a lifestyle is. So a lot of times you'll hear people who are going on a diet or a cleanse say like, oh, I'm starting a healthy lifestyle. And oftentimes, just with how those things are structured, they actually wind up being a quick one and done, whether that be you were on, Whole30, which obviously is eating whole foods for 30 days. Or if you did a paleo challenge or a keto challenge or like a vegan challenge, all of these things are great. And most of the time they have the intention of creating a new lifestyle, a healthier lifestyle, but they often fall short. And part of that is because it's too extreme of a change too quickly. So what we'll be talking about in this video are, again, that small sustainable growth, that small sustainable steps, so that you can actually make the lifestyle transition that you want to make. So that in your mind, when you think of a healthy lifestyle, which we all kind of have our own visual of what that means, you can live the vision that you have. And really, that's the ultimate goal when it comes to making any type of health and wellness change, right? If you want to be that person that wakes up at 5 a.m. and hits the gym Monday through Friday, then the goal is to how can we get you there? That is the end result that we're looking for. That's not necessarily the best place to start. So where do we start? Which leads me a perfect segue to my first point, is the mindset. Because mindset is king when it comes to this conversation. If you're looking at food first, if you're looking at workout schedules first, if you're looking at meal plans first, you're in the wrong space. We need to set our mindset for what we're about to do. And when it comes to mindset, my philosophy is kind of the dichotomy or the conversation between motivation versus determination. And in this situation, determination should be the leader here. The idea and why I think this is so important is because a lot of times people, and myself included, tend to rely on their feelings. Now, you might be thinking, I don't rely on my feelings, like I'm going to the gym or I'm not going to the gym. And you might think that, but a lot of times the conversation goes a little something like this. I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like eating that salad. I don't feel like eating chicken today. I don't feel. And we place so much emphasis on our feelings. Now, again, I am guilty of this as well. Feeling like, feeling like my feelings determine everything and can guide you. But the problem with that is that feelings are fleeting. And you can attest to this. 1 minute you're mad. The next 20 minutes later, you might be happy. An hour later, you might be sad again. Turn it around to 2 weeks later, you might be angry again. Feelings are temporary and fleeting. And so if you're going to base your goals on something so honestly fickle, you're going to have a really hard time with success. And oftentimes we see other people, or we're looking for that motivation, right? You get on Instagram, you're looking at fitness models or your favorite influencer, whoever, and you're looking for them to motivate you. But the problem is you have to be determined. When it comes to making changes like this, changes that you want to be lasting, that you want to be permanent, the thing is that you have to be uncomfortable enough to care enough to make the change. So that might be that you are sick of feeling uncomfortable in your clothes. You're up a size or two, still squeezing into your old clothes. Trust me, we've all been there. So no judgment, but you're tired of it. You're tired of feeling excess weight when you're used to being a certain size and now you're not that size anymore. It also is not all about size, right? Health and size are not always linked. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that all sizes are healthy, because that's also the point of that conversation. When we talk about health at every size, it means that you can be really petite and really unhealthy. You can also be obese and be, you not have any comorbidities that people tend to think. The thing with that, and then we're going to dive back into our topic, but the thing with that is that oftentimes the body will compensate until it can't. So right now you might be doing well if you're overeating or you're eating a diet full of processed foods, but at some point the body is going to break down and you're going to start seeing some of those comorbidities or those diseases of lifestyle. So the diabetes, the hypertension, the high cholesterol, things like that. On the flip side, if you're really petite and you're not eating enough, or you're eating a diet high in processed foods, you'll see the same thing. You can still see diabetes, high cholesterol, hypertension in a smaller person. So I think that's when the conversation of not judging based on size comes in. But back to what we were talking about, which is motivation versus determination. Feelings are fleeting, and so you can't rely on them. So you have to be determined and comfortable enough to make the change that you want to make, the change that you want to see in your life. So what I've realized since becoming a mom is that your children are the biggest teachers you could ever have. There's so many life lessons I get from them, just little nuggets here throughout the day that make me really sit and wonder, like, wow, that was kind of profound. And when I was scripting out this podcast, or kind of writing the outline for this podcast, it kind of, an example popped into my head, which was a good example of motivation versus determination when we have this conversation. If it's still unclear, let me clear it up for you. I'm obviously a mom of 2 small kids. You've heard me say this before. And I don't always feel like doing certain responsible things that moms are supposed to do. I don't always feel like cooking them, a healthy breakfast in the morning. I don't always feel like going to the park. I don't always feel like building blocks. Sometimes I just want to scroll on my phone and do nothing. Sometimes I just want to nap in the middle of the day. Sometimes I just want to eat chips out of the bag and call it dinner. I know I'm not the only one with that last one. So, but when you have kids, you realize that it doesn't matter how you feel. You have people that are relying on you, and you're determined to raise them to be, well-rounded, independent, smart, bright little beings. And because of this, your determination for your goal outweighs how you feel that day. So even though I might wake up and feel like, oh, I just want to sleep for, 2 more hours, like, go figure it out. For the record, my kids are not old enough to figure it out. But you get the point here, is that I choose to wake up and to prepare them a healthy breakfast, even if I'm tired, because my determination outweighs my motivation, how I feel that day. And so I encourage you to really set your goals and then let your, determination drive you more than you let your motivation hold you back. So now that we've got mindset out of the way, which again, mindset is the foundation of the changes that you want to make. Without the right mindset, it's going to be a flop. And I want you guys to be successful. That's the whole purpose of even having this conversation on this podcast, is to give you actionable steps that you can take to live the life that you want to live when it comes to health and wellness. So tip number 2 is that slow and steady wins the race. Now, we've all heard the story of the tortoise and the hare. I find myself to be more like the hare. I told my husband, I am a shooting star. And if you're wondering what I mean by that is, I mean that energy-wise, I can burn so bright, but for a very short amount of time. And so when you develop this healthy lifestyle, I don't want you to be a shooting star. I don't want you to do really well for a week or 2 and then fall off the wagon, and then you're back in the same habits that you're trying to break. Slow and steady really does win the race here. So what do I mean by that when it comes to lifestyle? It means that don't do anything too drastic. Although I like different types of diets, a lot of them tend to approach it from kind of an extreme perspective where you're cutting out massive food groups. And unless it's warranted with your health, then sometimes it can be kind of overwhelming and expensive for no reason. There are ways for you to be healthy and enjoy everything. But first, you really have to dig deep and decide what it is that you want in the short term and what it is that you want in the long term. So in the short term, I'm all about small steps that mean something. So committing to eating, one serving of vegetables a day. If you're eating no vegetables in a day, and I don't mean potatoes, even though they're delicious, I mean like green or leafy or carroty, like if you're not eating a proper vegetable at least once per day, that's a great place to start. And I do this with my patients. So this is not just something I'm saying for this episode. It truly does take small, sustainable steps. So I'll have them, again, one serving of vegetables a day, right? You're not drinking enough water. Another great example, because a lot of people do not drink enough water. You're not drinking enough water. Let's add 1 to 2 cups a day. So if you go from 0 and all you're drinking is coffee and soda, then I'm going to have you maybe give up a coffee and a soda and add in 2 cups of water a day. Now you might be thinking that's not big enough. It's not extreme enough, but it is, because that slow change, next time they come, once we're hitting that goal, next is, okay, you've been doing 2 cups of water a day. Now I want you to do 4. And slowly they'll start to make a change that's a true shift in behavior and not just a fad, not just a moment, not just a challenge. Because those aren't lasting. And this is what we're trying to get, lasting, sustainable goals. Okay, so we talked about diet, adding in a vegetable a day. We talked about water, adding 2 cups of water to whatever it is that you're doing in a day. The other thing is exercise. Now, we've all been guilty of this, again, with the challenges. You do one exercise or one workout session and you just think you are, an athlete, an elite athlete. And in that first week of working out, you might go 5 days a week. Too much at the start, because again, here you are, you're the shooting star. You're going to burn bright and you are going to fizzle out fast, because it's unsustainable going from 0 activity to 5 days a week in CrossFit. Now, can you be active 5 days a week? Yes, but you really have to plan out what that activity means. So if you were my patient, you were in office and you are not exercising at all, my recommendation to you is, let's talk about what you enjoy first. And I know that's not often the conversation that's had, but let's talk about what you enjoy. Do you enjoy riding a bike? Do you enjoy swimming? Do you enjoy weightlifting? Do you enjoy running, jogging, bar, Pilates, yoga? Like, you have plenty of options in regards to ways to be active. Let's start the conversation by, what do you like? Okay, say now you've said to me that you like yoga and bar. Okay. Great. We have 2 different types of exercises that you like. So we're changing it up, which is good. And I'm going to say, why don't you do bar twice a week and yoga once a week, right? 3 days a week. That's what we're starting at. Say you only liked bar, you only liked yoga. I might be starting you off at just 2 days a week, because 2 days a week is sustainable. My favorite workout of the moment is Orange Theory. And back when I was in residency and right before I was getting married, it's the exercise I did to get into really good shape. And I'm currently doing it again. And I'm reminded of how much I love it. And here's why. Number 1, I don't have to think about it. I just show up and someone else tells me what to do, and it's beautiful. Number 2, they monitor the heart rate. So when we're looking at like how hard I'm working, it's visible there on the screen, which I personally really like. And then number 3, they have this beautiful accountability system built in, where basically if you sign up for a class and then you no-show, you either lose one of your classes, so it appears as if you went, or it shows up as a fine. Now, some people might be like, what? You're already paying a ridiculous amount for that membership. And that's true. But that accountability has held, or that like little fee has held me accountable. And I have gone since I've started. So I'm restarting my fitness journey, if you will. And I'm just going twice a week. There's a lot of pressure to want to go 4 and 5 times a week. because it feels like I need to do that in order to see results. But I'm starting off slow because this is a true lifestyle switch for me. Something that I was better at doing before kids. Then I had them, life got crazy. I'm sure you understand. And so now I'm making that switch back into what makes me feel good and what exercises I like. I like bar. I don't love bar. So I don't do bar. And it's that simple. If you like lifting weights, then lift the weights. If you don't, then maybe if you like lighter weights, then HIIT might be a good option for you. If you're not into powerlifting, you don't have to powerlift to be successful in this healthy lifestyle space. You just need to find things that you can stick to. So you can kind of get an example of how I help my patients make these decisions, right? I look at all of the things that they need to do to be healthy, which is decrease stress, eat a well-balanced diet, drink more water, move their body. And we kind of take those things and then we separate them out and say, okay, what can you do? What do you enjoy doing? And what do you think is sustainable? Because again, all of this healthy lifestyle comes down to sustainability. This is not a 2-month challenge we're trying to do. We're trying to build lasting habits. The third thing when it comes to building a healthy lifestyle is consistency is king. This very much piggybacks off of the last two things I talked about, right? Motivation versus determination is all about pushing through your feeling and doing the action that you need to do to be successful. When we look at small steps, make big changes, or slow and steady wins the race, it's all about small little changes that you can make that in the end add up to be very big. And the reason why they're small is so that you can be consistent, which is point number 3. So consistency is king. You have to show up for yourself on a consistent basis. A great example of this, of consistency being king, is say you want to learn a new skill. Okay, you want to learn how to play the piano. So you show up to piano lessons, the first 3 weeks, and you're doing great and you're seeing great progress. You're practicing at home, and then you stop. You stop showing up to lessons. You stop practicing at home. What's going to happen? Well, you're not consistent. Therefore, the skill is not going to progress. You're not going to see any forward movement. You're not going to see any changes being made in what you're able to do and what you're able to perform. You can look at the same argument when it comes to education. You can make the same argument when it comes to fitness and diet and, using those things to make a healthy lifestyle. And when I say diet here, I don't mean like a crash diet. I just kind of mean the way that you eat, switching it to a healthier base of foods, I guess. So you have to make those consistent changes, which is why we start small. You're a lot more likely to maintain going to the gym twice a week at the start than you are to go 5 times a week during the start. And you're a lot more likely to add those 2 cups of water to what you're already drinking every day than you are to start drinking 3 liters a day when you haven't drank a drop in, 20 years. It's probably not going to happen. And so I want you to take these tools that I just discussed with you, mindset, shifting the mindset, adding in those small changes and being consistent to propel your health forward, because you can do it. So many people have done it, and so many people have done it without, these big drastic changes. You can do it too. And so I'm here to motivate you and to inspire you to go forth and eat that broccoli this week and drink that extra glass of water and show up to the gym once, twice, maybe 3 times if you're feeling fancy. But if you're new to this, remember what I just said, small, consistent changes win. That's going to wrap it up for this week's episode of the Pretty Healthy Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please rate and review, because it really helps the podcast be seen and more people know about it. If you're watching this on YouTube, I appreciate a like, a comment, and a subscribe. Also, be sure, no matter what platform you're listening or watching on, to share, because it really does help grow the podcast. And hopefully the words that I'm giving inspire you, and you can inspire someone else through sharing my content. Thanks again, and I will see you guys next Tuesday. Bye.